Hi everyone, welcome to my video. SCRT Telangana, Class 8, English, Unit 1, Reading A, Part 1. So, in the first unit, the theme is family. So, you all understand what is meant by family. Father, mother, brothers and sisters, people all live one another, helping each other, loving one another, sharing each other. People gather together as one. So the relations such as parents, children, grandparents, grandchildren, uncle, aunt, so on. Here if you observe, you can see two types of families. The first one, if you observe, there are a number of people. You can see grandparents, maybe parents, maybe siblings got married to women. Okay, they are uncle, aunt, we can consider their children. So, grandparents, grandchildren, children, and their wives, and so on. Okay, but so we can consider it as a joint family. If you consider a nuclear family, you will find father, mother, or rather parents and children. People in that will be very less. So we can see in the picture two types of family. Okay, and in both families, if they live together, there will be harmony, peace, joy. But the advantage may be different. Advantage of living as nuclear family and joint family, if you consider, there will be a lot of difference. Okay, so it all depends on the persons, because if you are in joint family, you learn to share, you learn to socialize yourself, you do not become selfish, or you do not incline to yourself. Rather, you try to share with everyone, sharing the joy, happiness, sadness, and so on. So, if there is a debate whether small families are happy families, when we consider the family's its advantages, we might say no. Sometimes we may consider that small families are happy families, but when we see the final result or the outcome, the result of it, living in joint family, you can see that you learn to share, you learn to consider, you learn to be kind, you learn to be gentle. All kind of moral values you can learn there, and you will never be excluded or separated or anything. You will learn to live in the society. Okay, here we go for first lesson, reading A. In that you will come across a few characters, and these characters, they clearly depict or portray the family relationship. Nowadays, what happens within the family, that can be understood. So this lesson named Tattered Blanket, it was written by Kamala Das or Madhavi Kuti. Her original name is Madhavi Kuti. She later converted to Islam, and she took the name as Kamala Suraya and all. So it was translated by K.M. Sharif. It was translated from Malayalam to English by K.M. Sharif. Okay. If you see the biographical sketch of Kamala Das, we can understand that she was born in 1932, born in the year 1932 to 2009. And if you consider her parents, her mother was a famous poet, Balamani Amma, and father, V.M. Nair. She is an internationally known poet, short story writer, novelist who writes effortlessly both in English and Malayalam. So she knows both languages very well. She is well versed in that, and so she used to write both in English and Malayalam. She has received many awards for her liberty work. Sorry, literary work. Many awards she has received for her literary work. Some of them are Asian Poetry Prize, Kent Award for English Writing from Asian countries, Asian World Prize, Sahitya Academy Award, and Vaila Ramavarma Sahitya Academy Award. So these are the different awards she received for her literature. Coming to the lesson, it is first better to go through the word meanings, okay? The possible words that you will come across in this lesson, okay? There are two slides, it is to go through. Now, let's go through the lesson. The tattered blanket. When he arrived unexpectedly at his home in the countryside in his office car and got down at the gate, his mother, who was lying in an armchair on the veranda, made a futile attempt to get up. So, a man comes home and he is not a normal person, he is an officer because in his office car he has come and his home is at the countryside, okay, in a remote area. And so when he reached there, his mother was there lying in an armchair on the veranda. And so she made an unsuccessful attempt as she was aged, as she was, unable to get up on her own. She was not able to stand. Kamala, there is somebody at the gate, she said. Somebody is in a car. So, mother, though she is aged, her sight was good that she was able to see who was coming there. Okay, so she just saw a person coming. So she said, Kamala, her daughter was there. Okay, so she informed her. Kamala, her eldest daughter, a widow, who was sitting huddled up on the tinna on the veranda, her head and ears covered with a thin bath towel, got up reluctantly, walked slowly to the gate, and screwing up her eyes, peered into darkness. Okay, peered into the darkness. So, who is Kamala? Kamala is the eldest daughter of this widow. Okay, so if you consider old woman, she is on her husband died. Now, what about Kamala? She is also a widow, her husband also died. So, these two are staying in that house. Now, there is a person who comes to that house. So, Kamala was not happy unwillingly when her mother said she just got up from there, she went, or she was rather, looking keenly to see who was that. Okay, she screwing up her eyes peered into the darkness. So you can see mother is seated on the veranda, Kamala is there just closer by. The man enters. If you observe mother as well as Kamala, you can see they are in a poor condition. Their appearance is not that high status or high standard. Whereas a person who comes, he seems to be rather in a high position, seems to be good looking and all. She saw a bald, fat, middle-aged man walking in through the gate. So, Kamala, when she was keenly just checking it, she could find who the person was. It was Gopi. Oh, Gopi, she said in her grating voice, why this sudden unexpected visit? So she seemed to be unhappy when Gopi visited there. So she asked him in a grating voice, why this sudden unexpected visit? Which means the person has not visited that place for a long time. So there may be some reason behind his visitation. So she wanted to just find out. Kamala, who is it? Her mother asked loudly from the veranda. Gopi, the man said, there was a meeting in Thiruvananthapuram. I just dropped in on my way back. So, mother asked loudly, Kamala, who is that? Okay, she wanted to know. She saw someone coming, so she wanted to know. Then Gopi himself answered. He mentioned his name, Gopi. And he continued to say that he had a meeting and so on the way back he just dropped in. Who, Kamala? Who is it? There was a note of alarm in Amma's voice. Amma could not understand what Gopi said. So she was asking again, Who? Kamala, who is it? Okay, so she was rather frightened or worried as she did not understand the person. Amma, why are you scared? So scared? Kamala, Gopi's elder sister asked her a little awkwardly. Why are you worried? Why do you take such attention? Don't worry. Are you frightened? Why do you fear? As if you are seeing Gopi for the first time. So you behave as if you are seeing Gopi for the first time. It is Gopi. So what is there to be worried of that? Amma, it's me, Gopi, he said again. So here Gopi is trying to tell who he is. But somehow that Amma is unable to understand that. He bent down and brought his face close to her wrinkled cheeks. Amma, it's me. So Gopi is trying to convince her by telling that it was him, but Amma is unable to understand who it was. Gopi, Kamala, I can't believe it. Has his school closed for vacation? So Amma is thinking about Gopi as if he is studying in school or something. So she is asking whether his school has closed for vacation. Amma is often like this these days. She doesn't recognize anybody. Gopi's sister explained. So Gopi's sister made Gopi to understand that Amma's condition is very poor condition nowadays as she is unable to recognize people. But sometimes her memory is quite sharp. So sometimes she acts smartly. Her memory is quite sharp. So at that time she asked whether you have sent any letter or not. Whether you have sent any letter. I tell her everything is fine with you, Vimala and the kids. So Kamala, when she speaks these things, she has a kind of negative or rather sarcastic way of talking because what happened was that Gopi had not been or Gopi has not been visiting this place for a long time, and so Amma has not seen him for a long time. Now, it's not only he was not visiting, but he never wrote any letters. But in order to make Amma happy, Kamala used to always tell that he wrote letters and everything was happy with Vimala and the kids. See, what is the point of telling her that you haven't written for a year? See, for a year he never wrote letters. You have to just understand. That is his Amma. He left her. He went to a different place for work and all. But he never wrote letters to his mother, especially last 1 year. Poor thing. I wouldn't dream of making her unhappy. If I say that you never send any letters, she would become very sad, unhappy. Anxiety will creep into her. So I always say that you wrote letters. Every day you write letters. And so she feels very happy about it. I got a promotion last year. After that, I am always on my toes. And there are tours quite often. I don't get any time to write letters. So what happens with him is that he never got time to write letters as he got promotion. As he is promoted to higher position, he never gets time to write any letters. So that is the pathetic condition of Gopi. So you can just imagine, if he really wanted, he could write letters. But he gives a kind of excuses. Okay, he gives a lot of excuses telling that he never got time as he got promotion, he is busy with his work and all. Every time he moves about with his work, and so he is busy. His life is fully packed. He is completely packed as if he never gets time for anything. And that's the way he speaks about his lifestyle. So he never got time. So he tries to convince Kamala for not writing the letters. So if he really had the love and care for his mother, his sister, he would have written at least once in a month. If not every week, at least once in a month he could write. Or at least once in 2 months. Last 1 year he never wrote letters. That shows whether Gopi was